Let's walk through what you see, what you predict, what's going to happen on Tuesday night.
Well, I think at a general level, we're going to be somewhere between +3 and +5 in the Senate. But I think we're going to win all the Republican seats, which will include Oz in Pennsylvania. Then I think we're going to pick up. Baldock almost certainly is going to win in New Hampshire.
I want to talk about a weasel named Newt Gingrich and how just a couple of days ago he was saying this.
Here now with reaction, former Speaker of the House, Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. You know, I love when you're right, and I have to identify that you were ahead of the curve. You have very confidently been saying for some time now that this is going to be a wave election.
We're going to win a historic election, maybe the biggest Republican victory since 1920, over 100 years ago, where people are just totally disgusted with Biden and with the Democrats, who feel deeply that the country's on the wrong track. I think we're going to see a remarkable repudiation of a set of policies that are, frankly, a disaster. I mean, I could not have dreamed, when you and I talked about this 2 years ago, I could not have dreamed how bad they'd be. I couldn't dream how dumb they would be. And now I think it's all going to cave in. And the reason you're seeing people like Obama be so angry is they don't have any facts on their side. All they've got left is raw emotion, because on every single major issue, they're now losing. And I think as that sinks in over the next 7 days, it's just going to lead to a tsunami of historic proportions.
That Democrats will run on three things. One, January 6th, and they hate Donald Trump. OK, that has fizzled out. Then they would run on the Dobbs decision. That seems to have now backfired on them. The next thing is the old historical playbook, which is Republicans are racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, etc. And by the way, they want to cut you Social Security, Medicare, and veterans benefits.
One of the great advantages that Dr. Oz has is that in Philadelphia, 70% of the voters say that crime is their biggest issue. And of course, Fetterman is pro-criminal, anti-police, wanted to release murderers. And all these things are coming together. And by the way, among women after Dobbs, there's been a 26% shift, 26 points from Democrat to Republican in the last month.
All right.
That's an astonishing number. Being conservative, +2 to +7 in the Senate, +20 to +50 in the House, maybe a little more than 50. Most likely House number is +44. I think we're going to pick up the seat in
Georgia,
Nevada, where we have Adam Laxalt. In Georgia, I actually, look, I'm an optimist. I think Herschel is probably going to win. Herschel Walker is going to win without a runoff. And then I think, frankly, Blake Masters is going to win in Arizona, where you have in Kelly somebody who pretends to be a moderate, but in fact has consistently favored more IRS agents over more Border Patrol. And people of Arizona know it. So I think it's going to be a great night. On the House side, will be somewhere between +20 and +50. I personally think it'll be about 44. And Kevin McCarthy is the next speaker. So one, the polls are almost certainly undercounting Republicans. Two, as I just did a newsletter that goes out from Gingrich 360 today, this is going to be a hard weekend for the Democrats. I think by the time it's over, almost nobody who's currently undecided is going to decide to vote Democrat. So
but oh, how the tides have changed. Now Newt Gingrich says this.
I talked 2 days ago with Adam Laxalt, who said, you know, he was ahead and was matching the Democrat with advertising until 2 weeks ago. And suddenly people decided he'd won, so they cut off his money, and she outspent him 3 to 1 the last 3 weeks. So I think you've got to go and look at some of these key places. In the case of Baldock, the candidate in New Hampshire, Mitch McConnell himself ran $4 million in ads attacking Baldock in a way, in the primary, in a way that I think permanently made it harder for him to win. And so one of the things we have to do is go back and look at why did certain incumbents lose? Was it reapportionment? Was it a bad campaign? You know, what was happening there? But what I've seen tonight, you had to have a sense that this was going to be a great night, and then it wasn't. However, let me point one other thing out, Sean. Kevin will not be faced with something unprecedented. Denny Hastert was at 221 in one election and a 223 in another election. So you can govern with a pretty narrow majority. It's challenging, it's exhausting, it's tricky, but it can be done. And I think the Republicans are going to be in charge.
And I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, you know what? There's a lot to be learned here. The sad part is these red states will be redder, but these toss-up states are going to be harder for Republicans to win the presidency. We have about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true in the long run. In the end, the American people outweigh any kind of geographic line. I think it's very likely 2 more years of Biden, we're going to have a great 2024.
And see, that's because Newt Gingrich is a scum-sucking bottom-feeder piece of shit. You know, otherwise known as a fucking newt. And he'll say whatever. Just like any Republican. They'll say whatever. And now they've got to explain to their children why this happened to them again. I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. Y'all take it easy.
In a brilliant maneuver, his head has dropped out of the lead or the point position, doubled back down his torso, and established what seems to be a rear guard action, but is in fact a feint to cover the real objective, sticking itself up his own ass.